Hello there guys, it's me Unstable Voltage and welcome back to episode 14 of City Skylines. We've just built ourselves a new little area over here which is going to be mainly residential, but there is a little bit of commercial in there. We could make it into our existing zone here of Walnut Square, but I think what we're going to do for this one is we're actually going to make this into a new area which will essentially be this zone here. So we'll just paint over the existing one and that becomes Crest Heights. There we go, we've got ourselves a new district. Not going to set any individual policies there yet. What's going on over here with this dump? This one is being emptied, but it isn't empty yet. What are we like on capacity with these things? Are we able to deal with the sheer amount of rubbish? Incinerator status are working very, very well. We would like to empty up as many of the landfills as possible. But as I said in the previous video, one thing I do want to try and do is connect up some sort of cargo rail line to the industry, and then maybe we can actually use that to lessen some of the traffic, because I guess traffic is still pretty bad in the industrial area. It's still pretty bad up here as well, despite the fact that we've tried to alleviate some of the problems. The big issue, of course, is that it's very, very hard to connect a 6-lane motorway to any other type of road without building at least some sort of junction or intersection, and it does cause some problems. The problem is made worse by the fact that the traffic is only using a single lane, even though there are multiple lanes available, and that causes the traffic to back up at the junctions, and that is a little bit messy. Unfortunately, there's not a great deal that I can do about that. That problem is hopefully being fixed because the developers are aware of it, but we'd certainly like to reduce a lot of the traffic if we can. Do we have any of these empty yet? No. We are trying to slowly get rid of all the landfills. I'm sure we will at some point. But let's see if we can go ahead and alleviate some of the traffic over here. I'm going to temporarily pause the game again because it just makes life a little bit easier in doing so. And we've got the option. It's under public transport. We can build ourselves trains. And we can build train stations, but more importantly, what we want to try and do is build a cargo train terminal. It allows trains to carry goods and raw materials. Cargo trains can operate inside the city with an outside connection. Build stations and connect the tracks before using the train line to make a line. I don't think these need to be circular either. What does that say? Build stations and connect them with tracks before using the train line tool to make a line. Yeah, that's fine. We can't build train lines yet. So what we want to do is we've got this this commercial sort of train, and we want to put it next to the industrial area. This is residential over here, so we are going to have to go ahead and build it somewhere over here, and then we need to make sure that we can rail down. So what we'd like to try and do is come down on the outside here and not bust through a lot of people's living rooms. So let's go ahead and put our rail terminal, or would it be better putting the rail terminal on or near one of the main roads, because it is going to have a lot of traffic going to it. So it may be better to actually have it on a road that has a high capacity as opposed to a road that has a low capacity. That said, we've got a lot of space here in the middle that we could be better utilising if we had a better spot for it. It's a difficult decision now, because we could just be making matters worse. I think we'll stick it here on the outside for now, and we'll see how it goes. We can always potentially change things later on. It's made people very happy that it's there. Probably not the people whose, you know, factories we've just destroyed. But we can build up a rail line. Now, you can't make sharp turns with rail lines, but the rail lines are fairly straightforward. We are going to have to go around a few little bits and pieces. And what we're just going to do, we need to connect it all the way over here to this rail line somewhere, basically. But we are going to have to go around sort of buildings and things. We are going to have to go across the river. Can we build raised rail lines? Yes, we can. Only to a certain extent, though. And going over high density areas is difficult because of the angle. So let's just go ahead and get rid of this bridge. And what we'll do is we'll take the rail line a little bit further out. And we'll try and avoid a lot of the populated areas if we can. So let's bring it. Let's bring the rail line over this way. We'll bring it along down the edge of the river. We'll build it. We'll a bit further down Riverside. We'll cross over here. We will need to get ourselves over the highway. So we'll find an area where it's blue, that's fine. And then we'll come back down and connect up to the rail line. So there we go, we actually now have a connected rail line. I don't think we actually need to... Yeah, we don't have a train station, so we don't need to connect up rail lines. But that, yeah, shipping outside the city just got a lot easier. It's on the rails. So this should be servable by trains now, even though we don't actually have any stops, because stops are just for sort of passengers. I did read somewhere where somebody had suggested that the passenger rail isn't quite working as well as it should be at the moment. Bear in mind, even though the game is out, I am recording these videos in advance, and what you're watching here is still pre-release gameplay. Although there was a patch this morning, which I assume is probably going to be the last patch before the game launches, because looking at the time now, it's currently Tuesday the 10th of March. And it is almost 2 PM in the UK, which means the game is due to launch officially, I think, in around about 4 hours. Obviously, if you're watching the video now, it's already out, but I would assume that we've already had the last patch before launch, but I could be wrong. There's every possibility there. So we are still gaining some population. We're not getting a huge number of people in. There is a little bit call for some more industrial area. Now, people have been asking me if I'm going to go ahead and put any agriculture or forestry in. Yes, I am. One thing that I have learned, which is actually quite a useful thing to know, is you can actually have industry, agriculture and forestry, even if you don't have the resources. So if we click on the resource map, you can see that there's fertile land and there's forestry land that can be used. Now, you don't actually need to have fertile land or forestry in order to have those particular types of industry, because you can just import all the stuff in. But we do have an awful lot of fertile land down here near the river. So actually having some industry over here on this fertile land could be very, very good for us. I guess we definitely need to have some sort of junction on and off the highway here. But I don't think that we need to have an awful lot of capacity. Because what I'd like to do is build up here. And what we can do is we could have a road and connect up another cargo rail station, so we can get another cargo terminal. We could build it on here next to a road. It was a little bit fiddly to do because we'd like to just snap it to the rail line first, but we could certainly go ahead and do that, and it's what I'd like to do. So let's just have a look again and see where we've got that fertile area. So it's all here on the riverside, really. That train line could have probably been a little bit better served, but it does go right through the middle of this industrial area, which could be very, very useful. So let's start thinking about building the roads here before we do anything else. So what we'll stick to is we'll go for the double lane roads, because we've already seen that it gives us a lot of a lot more traffic in the areas where you have the industry. We're probably not going to go for the decorative trees. This is going to be sort of farmland, as it were. Anyway, what I want to try and do is, with a straight road tool at least, I want to try and build a road that will allow me to attach to the existing rail line. That's going to be a little bit difficult because we've already got the rail line and I don't want to have to move it. So, space already occupied. Is that because the rail line's already there? Let's just go ahead and, well, I've already just paused the game. Let's just go ahead and take out a little bit of this rail line if we can. Let's just take these bits out just here. Let's quickly go and grab the cargo terminal. Put that against the road, and then we'll reconnect up the train line. So there we go. So that's connected up now, and then we'll go back to doing the roads, and we'll build up as much as we can. So let's go out to there, and let's go down to maybe here, and then we are going to have to go across onto the other side of the rail at some point. Do I want this road connected over onto this area? Might not be a bad idea. We do have the rail in the way now. Railway, get it? Let's go over, and let's go back down. Slope too steep, but not if we go and... Oh, I was going to say not if we go and smash somebody's house over there, but no, apparently that is still too steep. Let's not do that. Let's go ahead and click on that. Can I really not get that to come down anywhere else and actually connect to the road? There we go, that works. It's upset a few people, but it does give people a way in and out of this industrial area. So we would like to build on the other side of the rail if we can as well. Now this might be a little bit difficult because once again we are going... Can we just build from this junction? Probably not, because it already... Oh no, we can do. We can actually go ahead and build over here. That park is in the way a little bit. Maybe I'll bring this junction down here. We don't need to go right to the end of the road. So let's just go page up a couple of spaces. We'll build it as steep as we can and still get away with it. Now, why does that allow us... Does that allow us to build a level crossing if we just do it like that? Yes, it does. That's actually really useful. So we can just build level crossings. Fantastic. So let's go out to there now. Now we know we can do that. Obviously, we can only go so far down here. And we're already right up against the water there. Fine, that's about as good as we're going to get. So let's just build this all the way up to... Well, let's say there. In fact, we'll build that across, and then if it lets me just delete that little extra bit on the end. Fantastic. So we do have a four-way junction there, which might cause a few traffic problems. We've got a level crossing here. That should be okay. Now I know that I can do that level crossing. I'm going to get rid of that because that's ugly. And we'll just put in the normal road, and we will just level crossing through. And yeah, we have just destroyed another couple of buildings, but that's fine. Nobody cares. That is not too bad. Obviously, this doesn't have any connections going anywhere, but that's fine. A little bit of a shame because there is still some more land we could build on. I guess we could do that. Kind of works. We can... Yeah, that... What would happen if we went out to here? Yeah, just sort of builds a free-floating bridge, which isn't really useful to anybody, but we'll carry on doing that. Where is our fertile land? That's pretty much using quite a lot of it. I guess we could go ahead, build another little bit of road that just comes out to here. We've got some space we could use either side. There's a little bit more up to the top. We'll consider doing that at a later time. But I think that's going to have enough connections in and out for now. Just trying to decide whether or not I'd want to build any sort of road connections over to this side. But no, we probably don't need to for now. Now, we are going to have water. Because the agriculture industry does use a lot of water. And more importantly, we just need to make sure that it is connected up with water pipes. Because currently it isn't. So we're going to get all of this connected up where we can. We can cover most of that with a single pipe, which is really nice. And there's just a little bit up here that we are missing. I think what I will do also... Just because we don't have an awful lot of water availability, we're going to put in another water pumping station. We might as well put it down here quite close by. Yeah, that's fine. We can actually connect that up down here. We'll connect it up with a water pipe. I think that's snapped too. So let's go ahead and do that. It will need power, but it should get it from the neighbouring pumping stations there. That should be fine. We then want to get ourselves... We've got more of a call for commercial now, but we're going to go in and get industrial. Office zone. Is office industrial? It's blue. I would have assumed that it was commercial, but... it's strange, because I guess you do technically work in offices. So, are offices industrial, or are offices commercial? I assume they're commercial, but it's hard to tell. Anyway, let's go ahead and just make all this into agricultural industry. Like so. We'll do all this area as well. We'll leave a little bit. What we might do is just squeeze a few offices in here, because they may be usable by something else. And then we'll take our zoning tool. We might as well go ahead and unpause at this point. We will go and highlight this area here. Oh, no power to the train station. That's a very good point. Go and get that sorted in a second. But let's get all of this area coloured in. It's probably a little bit bigger than it needs to be. But we want this to be farming industry, and that is Sunset Heights. No power to the rail terminal yet. I'm not going to connect the rail terminal up yet. What I'm going to do is wait until we get a few buildings start to appear here. Once we do get a few buildings appearing here, then that should cause a connection for us. Let's go ahead and speed things up a bit now. Now we've actually got the train line in. Still having some crossroad problems, some intersection issues. Yeah, this is a right mess of little roads over here. A lot of these roads that I'd built were to try and alleviate some of the traffic. It didn't really solve the problem, unfortunately. But I don't think there's an awful lot we can do about that. We may end up at some point just completely getting rid of the area here and just trying to redesign it completely. It would be nice if we could get a few more things in to try and get rid of some of the pollution. It'd be nice if it had like a big paintbrush tool for trees where you could just sort of, you know, paint an area with them. That would be ideal. So far I haven't noticed anything like that, but we might be able to go ahead by putting in a park or something like that. A park with trees. Not sure if that will actually reduce the pollution. It doesn't give any pollution, but the trees normally reduce pollution. But it would be nice if we could raise the land value. These parks are quite huge. It's difficult to find a good space to put one in. I guess we could try and get a small park in. We can get one in there without causing too much death and destruction. Let's go ahead and drop that in and see how well it works. Fantastic. Let's just get rid of that so we can see what we're doing. We're still not making any more population, which is really strange. Let's have a look at our info here. We have 7,150 households occupied out of 7,734. So we definitely have space for people to move in. So we could theoretically be getting more residents, and I'm not sure why we are. Maybe we have an issue with taxes. We're at 8%. We're going to lower the tax a little bit. We're making a massive amount of bank, so I'm not too worried about that. Let's see if we can reduce the taxes a little bit more on residential. Of course, what you've got to remember is the vast majority of your money does come from your residential. So if you reduce taxes by even 1%, you can actually make a massive cut here. What are these people saying? Low land value. Yeah, this is potentially a problem. A lot of these houses over here do appear to be empty because they have a low land value. Now, which ones are these in? Are these in Crest Heights? How do I see? It's this one, isn't it? These ones are in Crest Heights. How do we increase the land value here? Can we do something with a policy to increase land value? Parks and Recreation increases the decoration budget. Moderately increased land value around parks and plazas. Well, we don't have any parks and plazas around here, but we could certainly do that for them and then put a park or plaza in. So let's go ahead and do that. High-tech housing we could go for as well. Slightly increased land value. Let's go for that, and then we'll take decoration. We'll take the parks and plazas option. And let's go ahead and let's take a park with, well, the parks with trees, they're nice, but they're absolutely huge. But we could probably go in and just throw down right in the middle there. And that probably increase the land value quite significantly in that area. We'll see how it goes. We'll leave that to tick, because we do have a little bit of commercial in this area as well. I do want to try and get rid of these landfill sites just as soon as they empty up. We do need for them to be empty before we can destroy them, and that'll cause less pollution. What have we got going on here? Yeah, still people unhappy that the land value is low. There's not an awful lot we can do apart from putting in these parks and plazas. Can we put in like a small park somewhere without destroying 2/3 of the housing? Maybe if we go ahead and put one in somewhere. Well, we've already got one here, actually. They should be fine. You're right next to a park. It's probably because they're next to the road. Or that's a public footpath. You should be fine. Maybe they're just complaining over nothing and we should just ignore them. We are still losing population, though, which is difficult. We're definitely getting some agriculture over here now, which is really good. Yellow cornfields are a much better site than dirty factories, so people are already happy that we are promoting agriculture. I feel really sorry for any farmer that has to try and plough and work a field that is on rocky, uneven land. If any of you have played Farming Simulator, you'll know just how difficult it is trying to turn around a seed sower on such ground. We've even got cows roaming around over here. That's quite nice. So we do have a few intersections. That's not going to cause too much of a problem. Most of the traffic is going to be coming in and out of here, and yes, that is an intersection with a lot of lorries coming in and out, but I don't think it will be too bad. I was hoping that a lot of them would just use the rail terminal, and, you know, who knows, maybe they do. Not nearly as much stuff built over here yet as I was hoping there would be. Maybe we can go ahead here and set a policy and make a What do we want here? What do these give us? Low density commercial buildings double their sales. No, I think what we'd like to have is tax relief for... Can we have tax relief for the industry, or is it just commercial and residential? Just commercial, residential, and offices. That is strange. Oh, well, they should be fine. I'm hoping we do see some more stuff pop up there. We're still getting a lot of call for commercial. We've got a fair bit of space over here that isn't being used for anything. Let's go ahead and get ourselves a nice double lane road with trees. And yes, this is going to cause another junction, not to mention somebody's house being destroyed, but hey-ho. Let's move out from here and connect up to this main road. Should be fine. And we'll take the zoning tool. And let's go ahead and get some high-density commercial in here. We don't have much commercial around at all. Can we not cover that one up? We'll do that in a second then. Let's get those in. We want to D-zone that and pop in that. There we go, a little bit more space. And I did see an interesting post that somebody had put, and it did mention that a lot of people tend to play what is sort of a game of whack-a-mole with the RCI panel. It's that you see industry goes up, so you suddenly go and build a load of industrial buildings, and then all of a sudden your industry need will drop and your residential will go up, so then you try and rush to build a load of residential buildings, and then your commercial goes up. You don't really need to do that. A lot of people quite unhappy about the oil pumps, and to be honest, I can't really blame them. They are quite ugly, and we do have this massive sort of oil area that's going on up here, and yeah, it is quite terrible. As far as this area goes up here that is assigned to oil, how much oil do we have left? Because if you actually look at the oil map, you can see that we've already used quite a lot of the oil that is here. There's still quite a lot of oil available. If you actually look, there's a lot of oil available, but we could probably go ahead and get rid of some of this oil industry now. It's making us a lot of money, but people generally don't like it nearly as much as they should. We're also getting quite a bit of forestry land over in this section as well. Maybe it is time to get rid of the oil. Maybe it is time to give that a go and see what happens. So Victoria Hills, you are no longer going to be oil. We are going to move you to... Well, you don't have a lot of fertile land there. Well, you don't have a lot of forest land. We are going to move you to farmland. And we are going to move you to forestry. And we'll see how well this changes things. We'll see what sort of effect it has. We see a lot of these places are now starting to change. So we might take a fairly big hit to our money at the moment while this industry changes over and gets itself sorted out. But it should make the city a lot cleaner, get rid of a lot of these polluted areas, and then potentially we can have more forestry land up here, and maybe even we can expand out in this direction because we've got quite a bit of forest land over here, I think. Yeah, all this is forest. So we do have some good options for the future. Got a few little fires going on. I don't think anything else is too bad. Let's just have a quick check at demographics and things. Electricity availability is still fine. So is water and sewage. Garbage is still okay. Incinerator status is lovely, but we are still trying to empty the landfills out. Education is not too bad. Now, I've always tried to make sure that... See, there's always people complaining. I try to usually make sure that we have a lot of schools and colleges available for everybody. The problem is you then end up with people who... all of your citizens become educated. We don't have any uneducated citizens, and sometimes the uneducated citizens are required for some of the jobs. So you don't want to have so many schools and colleges and universities that everybody gets a high education, because that's why you end up with factories and shops closing down, because some of them require uneducated workers, and if they can't get any, they close. So that is something to look at. Happiness generally is across the board. Commercial is a little bit unhappy. Maybe we can reduce taxes there for commercial. Health is pretty decent. Death care is also pretty decent. We are trying to get some of the cemeteries full. We can now build the crematoriums, but we're going to wait with those. We want them to fill up first so we can unlock one of the unique buildings. Traffic is still a problem in some areas. We are aware of this. We might even get another train line up here once we get to that point. Crime is always at a low. Fire hazard is not brilliant. This is going to be a lot of farmland, but I think it's going to be relatively spread out. So let's have a look at our employment. Our unemployment is 17%. There's 11,000 jobs available. And there's 10,000 people employed. So I guess that's sort of... Now, is that the free jobs that are available, or is that the jobs that are available in total? Doesn't quite make it clear, does it? Well, bear in mind, of course, that children and seniors and probably teens aren't working. So it's only the adults and the young adults of the population that make up the working population. Now, how are things going over here? Are we starting to see industry pop up? We are a little bit. Now, the land value is pretty crappy because, of course, this place is all pretty heavily polluted. But we should be seeing some forestry industry around here somewhere. Bob's Plastic Bags, Ready to Wear Limited, Lumber Company, Forestry Friends. Why are you unhappy, sir? Will it not tell me? Yeah, you don't have... Well, you don't have any workers because, like I said... Forestry Friends Limited requires 16 uneducated workers, but at the moment it doesn't have any, so potentially problematic there. I didn't realise that these roads weren't actually connected to this main street. I don't suppose they need to be, but it means that this central avenue is taking all of the traffic load here. So let's just go ahead and actually, it won't let us connect them up. That is quite strange. Can we just use the straight road tool? Will it let us do that at all? We can connect up to there with a strange sort of curve in the road. Let's go ahead and do it. Can we connect this one up? Yeah. Just so the traffic can move around a little bit more easily. Probably won't, because of course it's got the usual problem of having too many intersections. But that's about all we can do on this video. So thanks a lot for watching, guys. I hope you are still enjoying City Skylines, and I'll see you on the next video. Until then, goodbye for now.